I kinda dismissed this when I first saw it came out, but then I didn't really have a lot of stuff to watch this week, and this did look like it might be decent, plus I like the cast in it too. I mean, Rosamund Pike is always great, but I've been a fan of Joel Kinnaman for a while now. Which I feel like is a weird thing to say considering I haven't been a huge fan of most things he's been in. But I love the TV show The Killing, I think that's what it's called. And I've been a fan of his ever since, even if I really don't think he's been cast in the most stellar projects. In fact, I can't think of a single thing I've seen him in since that has been great. And I don't think this is great either, but it is pretty solid and I liked him in this role a lot. I just think it was great casting and he fit the role of this Polish criminal guy very well. And the basic premise here is that he's an informer for the feds, the FBI. And he's sort of undercover working on a case. However, as one might expect, things don't exactly go according to plan and he gets himself in a bit of a pinch. And for the rest of the movie he's basically trying to navigate that whole situation. Trying to figure out how to get himself out of harm's way in order to protect his family. Meanwhile, we also follow this FBI agent played by Rosamund Pike, who is well intentioned but isn't necessarily on top of things to the degree she should be. And in addition to that, we also follow this NYPD guy played by Kinnaman, who also gets involved because of reasons I'm not gonna get into here. So there's a few different things going on here, but it all ties together. And it's all really working toward the same thing, but I would say that the way it all comes together and the way the plot is set up here too, makes this as a whole surprisingly interesting and engaging and fairly intricate too. I mean, it's not the most layered or complex thing I've ever seen, but there is some amount of complexity to the plot and I generally liked how it was put together. I also liked the general look and feel of the movie, although, to be fair, it's not anything all that special and particularly the score felt a bit generic. But it wasn't poorly shot and the editing kept it going at a fairly steady rate too. So I didn't really have any issues with the technical side of things. And as I alluded to, I liked the story here too. It wasn't anything phenomenal, but it really worked. And I guess the characters were a bit flat to be honest, but that didn't really get in the way of things either. But what I really appreciated here was the overall tone and just how intense it could get at times. In fact, this is the closest thing to a S. Craig Saller-esque movie I've seen. That's not an actual S. Craig Saller movie, and I really like those. You know, Bone Tomahawk, Brawl in Cell Block 99, they're just fun movies. With a fair bit of brutal violence, which I feel like this imitated to some degree too. Although I don't think it quite got to that level, but it was still pretty effective. Now that I guess brings me to the only real issue I had with this, and that's the ending. And I didn't actually have an issue with what happened, just how it happened. Or rather how it was executed, because it felt a bit clunky and awkward. It felt like it just wanted to wrap things up as fast as possible, which made it feel rushed. And I don't know if that was just a blunder made in the editing, or if they ran out of money, or if it was written this way, but whatever the reason was, they could have easily spent another, I don't know, probably 5 or 10 minutes there toward the very end and made it feel less rushed. It would have given that last part a lot more impact, and it wouldn't have felt so out of place either. Because it honestly felt almost like a montage, that's how fast it wrapped things up. Which made it lack that oomph that it needed and left me feeling a bit underwhelmed. But I still enjoyed it for the most part. I thought it was a pretty entertaining thriller. However, would I recommend it? Sure, why not, as long as you're just looking for something kind of fun. This should do the trick, so you know, maybe give it a peek. Or don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you like, you can support me on Patreon or PayPal through links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.